Hello everybody, Dr. Carmen Bryant, Psychological Health Consultants and Services, and my program Redefining Yourself. This is a program that I created for women that are thinking of leaving and needing more education, and those that have left domestic violence relationships. Now, my main focus is narcissist abuse, and recovering from narcissist abuse. First of all, you have to identify what it is that you're going through, because domestic violence is domestic violence. It's just how a person does it and what's wrong with the person that's doing it. 9 times out of 10, we all know that a person that abuses is repeating a behavior, because 9 times out of 10, a person that has been abused has been a person that abuses has been abused. A person that sexually violates or molests probably has been molested or violated. So it is a learned behavior, and they're repeating a behavior that has been taught to them. Not every person that has been abused abuses, and not every person that has been sexually violated sexually violates. That is not a fact. But I will say that those that are in domestic violence relationship, not every single one of them are narcissists. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health disorder. Back on the axis, when we used to work from the axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Axis 1 was more of the anxiety disorder, depression, and then the mental health mood disorders. Anxiety, depression. But the axis 2 was or is, and now when we write it out, we just put them all together. But the axis 2 was for personality disorders, such as histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder. Go back and watch my video when it talks about the cluster B. I think it's the cluster B personality disorder. I describe the different personality disorders and what they're considered. A narcissistic personality disorder is considered a dramatic, remember this word because I'm going to use it again in this video, dramatic personality disorder is clustered into the dramatic personality disorders. Before I start, I do want to say thank you, each and every one of you, all the new subscribers. Thank everybody. I thank everyone that came on live and asked questions. I really apologize. I had a problem with the internet. The internet went out in the entire house, and so when I restarted it, I couldn't continue from where I started last time. So I found out from some other people that do watch, my sister that was watching, that there were comments and questions on there, but I could not see the questions and comments, and so we'll try to do it better next time. And let me know, put in the comment blocks there on YouTube or on Facebook. Let me know if you want me to go live again, because I will go live again. I'm also going to go live on Periscope. For those of you that have Periscope, for those of you don't, just stay tuned on the YouTube and the Facebook page, on my professional Facebook page, but I will go Periscope live. When I go on Periscope live, remember, I'm having to start all over again, because people on Periscope don't know who I am unless you yourself have Periscope. So I'm really starting all over again and reintroducing domestic violence and narcissist abuse. So for those of you that have been following me, you're welcome to come to Periscope and make comments, or ask questions, but I'm going to try and maybe do it like once a week, but I have to go back and reintroduce narcissist abuse, because a lot of people that are on Periscope have not heard me teaching on YouTube, and I will invite them over to YouTube so they can follow what I've been teaching. But I'm really going to go through and kind of recap and, go through what I've been talking about. But thank you guys so much for all your comments. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the comments on YouTube. I'm really honored. Thank you so much. We even had a gentleman to come on and ask questions in reference to a female narcissist, and I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for coming on and trusting us, with that information, and trusting me to answer that question. Even though this program is developed for women, and I'm focusing on getting women out of domestic violence or narcissistic abusive relationships, I always say men go through the same thing, and a lot of the things that I talk about are exactly the same things that men go through. And thank you so much. And I think it was Mr. Naylor, and I'm not going to say a former Marine, a Marine, who actually opened up and said that he was going through it. Thank you so much. And once again, I'm back. And so today I just wanted to briefly, because I do have a client coming in, I'm in my office, but I wanted to go back and recap on the narcissist being an illusionist. And so I was looking over magicians and illusionists, and like, how do they become magicians and illusionists? And, we always like to go to a good magic show or a good illusionist. People like, who is it? Now, David Copperfield and Chris Angel and back in the day, Houdini, you know, these people perfected the art of illusions. And so I was reading and I found out that there is I think a magicians association with like over 41,000 magicians and a part of that association in the United States. And then I was also looking like, how they're trained, what the titles that they use. And so the biggest thing, and remember I said in my live, when I did my live, an illusionist job, and even a magician, but an illusionist job is to feed you false information to change your perception on how you see things. And when I was reading over it, it was talking about when I was reading over like magicians and illusions, it talked about being actors. It's a performing art, and so they really have to focus, and it takes years to perfect acting and making the audience believe that magic is real. They're very dramatic, and the tricks and the things and the illusions that they present is very, very dramatic. And so having said that, think about it. A narcissist works very hard in interjecting information, false information, especially about yourself, false information to change your perception of reality. That's what a narcissist does. Interjects their false and dysfunctional beliefs and changes your belief system, changes your perceptions on reality and truth to make you believe a lie and falsehood. So they work very, very diligently to change your perceptions, to change your thoughts. And majority of the time, when you come out of a narcissistic relationship, depending on the length of time that you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you have changed the way that you think, your perception. And most people that I see in counseling, when they come in, they have a low self-esteem, and these are very powerful people that have held, not everybody, and don't think that you're not powerful just because you don't hold a powerful position. You're still powerful, or they wouldn't have leached off of you. Because remember, they're parasites. They have to find a host to suck fuel out of. There are parasites that have to connect to a host, that have to connect to a source of supply to suck fuel. That's what they do. That's where all the energy comes. And the more emotional you get, the more more antics they have, the more dramatic they are, and the more dramatic you become, the more fuel you're feeding them any way possible. And then on top of that, they always have to have different sources of supply. You have the intimate source of supply, which is usually the intimate partner. Then you may have other intimate sources of supply. You may not be a freaky dick, but that person may be a freaky dick. You may be a missionary type person. This individual may swing off the chandeliers. They may be a stripper and dance on the poles. Now, I'm just keeping it real. I know it sounds kind of gross. I'm sorry, but I'm keeping it real. I'm a therapist. So what you won't do, they'll find someone else that go do it. And don't hesitate to believe. Is that right? Don't hesitate to believe. I think that was right. That was the right sentence. But don't ever think that a narcissist won't go to a prostitute. Even the most astute will go to a prostitute. And whatever you won't do, they'll go and find someone else to do it. Or if they're just bored with you, they'll go find someone else to do it. So if they want some Tarzan Jane type of thing, or if they want somebody that's into masochism or torture and stuff, they'll go find that. They'll find someone that will interest there. And my mentor talks about it a lot. They'll find a source of supply that will stimulate their intellect. They'll find one that is financial. There's one that's arm candy. There's one that's sexual. There's one, and the main source of supply is usually one that's a good homemaker, that takes care of the home, that takes care of them. So they've trained that source of supply very well. So they always have different sources of supply and flying monkeys. And it led me to say this. An illusionist. So I'm reading off of home art. This is arts and entertainment, performing arts. So an illusionist is a performer. They have to work very hard on performance, and sometimes it takes years to perfect becoming an illusionist. You have those that are close and personal, that do card tricks, but their whole focus is to get your focus off on, so that you can't see the tricks that they're doing, to get your focus off. That's what a narcissist does. Get your focus off so that they can do what they want to do. And then they gaslight you to believe that when you pick up on what they're doing, they gaslight you to make you believe that what was happening is not even happening. That's gaslighting, but that's the great illusion. And so here it says, let's see, they have to learn. So they start off, remember, you got the narcissist, that's the low, mid, the high, and then you have the elite, which is the greater narcissist. But they train, and the way that they train is you train them. You train them by what you say. You train them by what you do. When you think that they're emotional and they're loving everything, no, they just studied people to figure out how to mimic them, how to watch them. What kind of facial expression do you have? I've watched one actually be really, really dramatic. It was like, do you know what's on my mind? And it really was just disgusting because they're good actors, and you know that they don't have feelings like that. It was just, and it was almost like misplaced. It's almost like misplacing words or misplacing your facial features to go, I am so happy. You know, there are some people that cry when they're happy, but if you're tormented and you're telling people that you're happy, and I think my big brother introduced the paradox. Paradox is two opposing opinions. That's what a narcissist is. There is two opposing opinions going on in their head, and they're fighting with their own self. And the fight that goes on with their own self, because remember, it's like an autoimmune deficiency. An autoimmune disorder is where the immune system begins to attack itself. So that it thinks that the body is attacking it, so it attacks itself. Well, a narcissist is a defense mechanism gone wrong, and it begins to attack. It turns on into itself. Remember, narcissists. Remember the Greek mythology about Narcissus. He looked into a mirror and fell in love with himself. So it went totally wrong. It was almost like perverted love. And so it's the exact same thing with a narcissist. Everything has been turned back. It's an illusion. And so they try to get you into the illusion. And they're actors. They learn how to act, and you train them. You train them how to act. You train them about facial features. You train them about words and what emotions go with the words. Most of us know that when you cry, you're usually sad. You know, and if you're laughing, you're usually happy, you know. And in the mental health community, if you're laughing and crying at the same time, that becomes a part of a mental health diagnosis, you know. And so that lets us know that there's something going on. There's something really, really going on. And I think they have advertisements on television about laughing and crying at the same time, that there's something actually mentally and chemically and psychologically wrong. Something is wrong with the narcissist, people. And ladies, I'm telling you, you cannot be desperate for a relationship. You have to be satisfied with yourself, because you become a narcissist or a narc magnet. Let's talk about the illusionist again. And so they even, the mentalist. So they talk about the mentalist, the master mentalist. It has people believing that they can read their mind, which in actuality they train very hard. And it's the art, the psychology of being able to convince people that that is what they're thinking. And so an illusionist will make you think that's what you were thinking, and then you agree with what they were saying when they're actually introducing false information to you. But they study people. It's the psychology of it. They study people, and then they pick out your weaknesses and what they think that you should be thinking, and then you think what they're thinking. And then you claim it as your own thought. Let's see. So they create an illusion, and you learn it as you master mentalism. It is the great art without which magic shows would not be worth the magician's effort. Magic mentalist is all about making the audience assume or believe that something supernatural is happening, when the magician was simply employing some time-tested tricks from his repertoire of skills. How does a narcissist develop repertoire of skills? By the people that they're attached to. You train them. We train them. And so they learn the art of magic and the art of illusion. So let's see. And remember and I don't know if some of you have seen the show where they had this magician come out and tell the secrets, all these time-tested secrets of the magicians. And I think he made the comment that these magicians were out to get him. If they were going to find him, they were going to kill this guy, because he was given the secrets of all these magic acts. And if you notice that an illusionist like David Copperfield and those that, you know, an illusionist creates illusions on a grand scale. And if you notice an illusionist that creates illusions on a grand scale have many actors and assistants that work with them that help these illusions work. So a lot of people that look like they're innocent people just watching, and they're shocked, and this what happens, these people are actually a part of the magic act, of the part of the illusion. And so when they do these grand scales of, I think David Copperfield, I'm not sure if it was him or not, made the Statue of Liberty disappear. It was the illusion that you know doggone well that the Statue of Liberty did not disappear. It hasn't disappeared, and it's not going to disappear. But you actually believe, and you're trying to figure out how this guy did it, but he had a lot of assistants to help him do it. I think we saw some magic tricks or some illusions dealing on a large scale in a parking lot with buses and cars. Well, there are a lot of people that are working. They're called flying monkeys. These flying monkeys, you know, some knowingly and some unknowingly help the narcissist create this grand illusion of this illusion of grandiosity, of greatness. And so the more assistance that the illusionist has, the greater magician that this person is. And these names have become great because they're good and they have mastered the skill of illusion. Same with the narcissist. It takes time. That's why you have the lower narcissists that don't know how to control their emotions and they fly into rages a lot. They have no balance. But the further up in the ranks of narcissism they get, the more they learn how to temper that anger. They know how to temper their emotions because they're watching you. And each person that they get with is at a different level, at a different scale. You have someone that may be a great supply, a homemaker, take care of the kids, but then you have someone that has a lot of money. Well, a person usually has a lot of money unless you've got an inheritance. You've worked for that money, and you might be on the upper class of the wealth. You know, if they can get their way into Hollywood, if they can get their way with these people that are on the scale of wealth, then they're going to learn the mentality and the language of those people that operate on that level of wealth. They're illusionists, and so they pick up the language, and then they have you believing that they're actually at that level. But if you're smart and not desperate, if you listen, a lot of times it leaks out that they're not as smart as you think they are. In actuality, I hate to say this, when you slow a narcissist down and a narcissist gets frustrated, they actually expose their ignorance. They're actually not as smart as you think they are. You have created the illusion to make them feel and look like they're actually grandiose, smart, wise, educated. Now, like I said, you got those that are on the grander scale that is harder to detect. It's harder to detect when they come into your life. It's harder to detect that you're dealing with a narcissist, even in conversation, because the conversation is good. But they know how to woo you and they know how to manipulate your emotions. They know how to get that heart beating. They know you hear their name and all of a sudden your emotions are out there. If you're dating men and women, if the first thing that's triggered is your emotions, you might want to back up. I'm not saying that each and every person is a narcissist, but there are people that will manipulate you and take advantage of you. But a narcissist knows how to manipulate your emotions. And so when you meet someone, if you're on the dating scene or, you know, you have to remember you're also a prize. If the narcissist can get with a married person, that's a prize. And that's a notch in their belt to fuel them, to make them feel, because they also have a crowd that cheers them on. The flying monkeys that cheers them on. And so when they can get a notch on their belt and they can brag, usually the people are, and I'm not saying they're ignorant, some of them are, but a lot of the flying monkeys, they applaud them and make them feel grand, you know. So they'll pick people that are on the same mentality of thinking that they are. They don't believe in when it comes to marriage, they don't believe in the constitution. When I say constitution of marriage, meaning, you know, a monogamous relationship with one person, building and loving and being faithful. They don't have the capacity to feel love. They don't have the capacity to feel empathy. When you hurt, it fuels them. So the more you hurt and the more that you display your pain and your hurt, the more fuel they get. That is fuel to them. It makes them feel good. It's like, I'm capable of making you feel that way. I'm capable of making you feel this way. You see what I mean? And so, like I said, with the illusionists, they learn from years of practice to perfect their skills. And when you can go see people like, I would love to go see David Copperfield. I know he's a great illusionist. But I know in my mind that he worked very hard to get to where he's at. And he has a lot of assistants, just like Chris Angel. You have a lot of assistants. Some as camera, when they're on camera, a lot of them as camera tricks. When he was walking across the water in the swimming pool, do you see how dramatic he was when he was doing it? Well, when the magic trick was exposed, there's a plastic that runs across the water. But when the certain angles of the camera, you know, people going under his feet, swimming under his feet, all those people were actors that were playing along with him as he's doing this trick, and he's wobbling while he's walking. So, you know, they're physically fit and they're also actors. It's the dramatics, the performing arts, which is excellent because it's a wonderful show. A narcissist is a great actor. It's a wonderful show. And what you guys have to do is guard your mind and your hearts. You cannot be desperate to be in a relationship because you will magnetize a narcissist in your life. And when you get a narcissist in your life, it's just like a parasite inside of your body. When that tapeworm begins to grow, you begin to lose nutrition and you begin to starve to death. And that tapeworm has grown so big, it's massive. Or the parasite in your body where it begins to kill you because your body is not getting nutrients. A narcissist is like that. Once that narcissist gets into your head, it's almost like a spite parasite, and it begins to tear you up internally, your soul, your mind, your thoughts, where when you come to a counselor to talk, everything about you that was truth is torn apart. All your truth has been torn apart. Remember, an illusionist interjects false information to change your perception of truth. They work very hard on tearing you up from the inside out, starting with your mind and then with your heart and with your total soul. They go in, interject false information to totally destroy your sense of truth and your perception. And by the time that they're done with you, and they probably have discarded you and moved on to another source of supply, you're mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, and you need someone like a mentor, or you need someone like a counselor to rebuild you. Never say I gave everything, because if you gave everything, you've killed yourself. And if you committed suicide, you've given everything and sacrificed yourself to a narcissist, which just gave them more fuel. They grieve not because they've lost you. They grieve because they lost their supply and they weren't able to find an equal source of supply quick enough before you did it. But they much rather see you kill yourself, because to them, that's the greatest source of fuel, and it fuels them and gives them energy. Hopefully this has helped you. I have a client coming in and I wanted to hurry up. I'm going to go live hopefully maybe this week. Stay tuned. If you have Periscope, go on Periscope. Remember, when I go on Periscope, I'm probably going to start all over again, meaning starting from the beginning, because most of the Periscope viewers have not met me. They don't know who I am, and so I'm probably going to invite them over to my YouTube channel to kind of give them an introduction so they can look and see what I've already posted. But for those of you that have been following me, you know, go from the bottom and work yourself up, and you'll find topics that may relate to your situation. If you're questioning whether or not you're in a narcissistic relationship or you're trying to recover from it, remember, it was never you, it was always them. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You may have some emotional problems, you know, emotional problems, and maybe come from a dysfunctional family. Those are the ones that they look for. Those are the victims that they search for. They're hunters. They're soul hunters. That's what they do. They look for emotions and they hunt souls. So hopefully this has helped you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant with a T, DrCarmen Bryant, and it's Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. And then I have a professional Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. And I say it over and over again. Share these videos. Share, 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 share. And the reason why I say share, not because I'm on there, because I can cut the camera off and you can just hear my voice. But, you know, I've got a lot of antics that go along with it, keep you kind of focused on the camera. But it's not because of the fact that I'm on the camera. It's because of the fact that somebody needs to hear this. Somebody might be going through narcissist abuse and don't realize it has a name to it. Don't realize that there is a way of escape. You cannot change a narcissist. A narcissist will not change. It is a permanent dysfunctional personality disorder, and narcissist is a defense mechanism went wrong. It turned on in itself. A narcissist is not going to change, and the longer you stay and accept the behavior and take accountability and make excuses for their behavior, which some people do, make excuses for their behavior and always cover for them, you're part of the codependency that fuels these narcissists to keep them going. It's not that I hate them. You know, I don't hate a narcissist, but I do know what it feels like. I'm a survivor of narcissist abuse over 22 plus 24 years of narcissist abuse. And so I know, because a lot of the coaches that are out there on YouTube, a lot of them are survivors of narcissist abuse, and they'll tell you. We have Mr. Quinn Holiday, who is Associate Director. He's a male survivor of narcissist abuse. You have people like Angie Atkinson. I love her. I love listening to her. You have Melanie Tanya Evans. You have Kim Saeed. You have you have Sarah Speaks. You have all these people, and there's some more people that I like to, but you have all these people on there, and a lot of them are survivors of narcissist abuse. Be careful, because there are some people that are out there teaching that are actually narcissists that are teaching it. And so I just want you to stay tuned. I'm going to post again. Please, you know, put your comments on YouTube. Ask me whatever question you want to. Send me topics that you want me to talk to. And share, 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 because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to see this. Somebody needs to hear that they're not crazy, and somebody needs to hear that there's a way out. For some people, I'm telling you, there is no way that they're not going to change. And it's better to get out than to kill yourself or to have them murder you. Suicide, you need to get suicide out of your mind. Nobody is worth killing yourself over. You can restart, and your life afterward can be better than your life was with them. I'm telling you, I'm a living witness, and there are people that are on YouTube that are coaches that are living witnesses. If you have a story, tell me your story. You know, and if you don't mind me sharing it, I'll share the story too. Ask me questions, and I'll make sure that I'll be able to answer those questions. If I don't, I'll let you know, and I'll go research it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and you're welcome to email me as Dr. Carmen Bryant, all one word, DrCarmen CarmenBryant@outlook.com. Take the opportunity to email me, and thank you guys for interacting. Thank you guys for the subscription. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when I come on and when I post a new video. Hey, you guys go out and be great, and I hope that you enjoyed your Thanksgiving holidays for those of you that celebrated, and your weekend. And once again, hey, I also want to just let you guys know, I'm going to teach you guys how to enjoy your own self. I'm going to take you out to dinner with me one day. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at, but I'm just going to turn on the camera, and we're going to sit and we're going to have dinner. I'm going to show you how to enjoy yourself. I'm going to show you how to enjoy your surroundings and just enjoying yourself, loving your own self. Once you start loving yourself and respecting yourself, it becomes harder and harder for other people to disrespect you. Never accept disrespect. If a person disrespects you, cut them off. You know, let them know if they don't change and they continue doing it, which narcissists do, cut them off. Learn to respect yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn to be by yourself. Learn to enjoy yourself. I like going to the movies by myself. I like going out to eat by myself. I have a daughter that hangs out with me. Me and her go to the movies. I go watch cartoons, so I won't look crazy sitting in the theater watching cartoons. I go watch cartoons. I watch kids' movies with her. But go and enjoy yourself. And if you have kids, enjoy your kids. Hey, you guys go and be great, and I'll come back on tomorrow. Hopefully I can try to Periscope this week, and I'm going to start. So if you have Periscope, go look for my Periscope. It says Dr. Carmen Bryant, and I think like when I go and watch other videos, it's First Sergeant USA. I'm a former First Sergeant in the United States Army. I held the position. I did the work, and so I am on Periscope. It says First Sergeant USA, but my handle is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like my friend always says, go and be great, and what I'm going to add is I really mean that.